Okay, today we're going to finish talking about lesson 8.6, which was factoring trinomials with an a value that was not equal to 1. So the first thing that we had some word problems that we didn't get to before. So the area of a rectangular computer screen is 4x squared plus 20x plus 16. The width of the screen is 2x plus 8. What is the length of the screen? So we draw a rectangle. And when we're looking for the area of the rectangle, of course, is that space that is inside the region enclosed by the boundaries. That's supposed to be a 20x plus 16. Then we're told that the width of it is 2x plus 8, and we want to know what the length is. So hopefully you remember that to find the area of a rectangle, you multiply the width times the length. So basically what they have done in this problem is to find it, we would divide, which is what our factoring process is. So what we have here is the answer that we are starting with, and they give us one of the factors, and we're looking for the other factor. And we've talked about several times that our first term, we get our first term by multiplying the first terms together. So we're looking 2x times what gives me 4x squared. Hopefully you can see that's 2x. And then to get the last terms, we have 8 times what gives me 16. And hopefully you know that that answer is 2. We have a plus here, which means my signs will be the same, and they'll both be the sign of my b term. So that means this is going to be the length of our screen. We're just working backwards. We're doing that factoring process, but they've done all the hard work for us. So the next one, we have our rectangle, 4x squared minus 6x minus 40. They tell us the width is 2x minus 8. And again, we're looking for the length. So when we go set it up, we're starting with our area, and the trinomial that represents that is 4x squared minus 6x minus 40. They give me one binomial factor. I'm looking for the other one. So 2x times what gives me 4x squared, 2x, and 8 times what gives me 40, and that is 5. Keep in mind when we check it, that's a negative 8. I need to get to negative 40, so this will have to be a positive 5. Okay, in the last group, we had a group at the bottom of our worksheet, and we need to factor these. And what's different about these at the bottom than what we've had at the top is they tell you that it needs to be factored completely. So they're kind of giving you a hint that you need to look for a GCF first. And you really should always look for a GCF, but if you don't find it, we have ways to make sure that we do at the end. So looking at our first one, hopefully you recognize that 2 goes into every term. So that becomes 3x squared minus 5x minus 2. When you take 2 out as a common factor, that's just taking half of each term. That's the same thing. Now, completely says you're not done after you find that GCF. So we'll go back to the method that we've used. So in the methods that we use, here are our steps that we have. So the first step is, are we looking for a sum or a difference? And this tells us if it's a sum, if c is greater than 0, a difference if c is less than 0. So this is my A, this is my B, this is my C. C is less than 0, the sign is less than 0, so that means that I'm looking for a difference. And that difference will always be equal to B. So B in this case is 5. Now, the next step says multiply a times c. 3 times 2 is 6. And I'm looking for the factors of 6 that answer 1. So we always start off with 1 in the number, and I'm looking to subtract those numbers to get to 5. Well, 6 minus 1 is 5, so those are my numbers. And now I write my ratio, a to each factor. So this is factor 1, this is factor 2. My a value is 3, so I'm writing 3 to 1, 3 to 6. Step 6 says simplify if possible. There is no common factor here, but these have a common factor of 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this is what my factors are going to look like. So I write those factors up there with my variable 3x and 1, x and 2. Now, I have a difference. I'm looking for a difference. That means I need to check my inner and outer product. My inner product, 1 times x is x. My outer product, 3x times 2 is 6x. Okay? Because when the signs are different, if I'm looking for a difference, excuse me, my signs will be different. And the larger product, 6x is larger than x, so the larger product will be the same as my middle term. So my middle term is negative. That means that my 6x has to be negative. So I'm going to put a negative in front of that. Okay, so my 6x is negative, which means this term has to be negative and the other one will be positive. 3x times x is x squared times my 2 on the outside gives me my 6x squared. So that's a quick check. All right, let's look at the next one. We have, let me bring it to the front real quick here so I can move it on this side and I'll keep it over here. All right, so my first term, looking for a common factor. Hopefully y'all can see the common factor that in each of those terms is 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, d squared. 21 divided by 3 is 7d. And 15 divided by 3 is 5. And we're not done, so we'll put our set of parentheses. And now we have to go follow our steps. Okay? Sum or a difference. I look at the last term. It's positive. That means I'm looking for a sum. And my sum will be equal to my middle term. Remember, this is my new A, B, and C. So my sum will be equal to 7. I multiply A and C together. So 2 times 5 is 10. And I start listing the factors. 1 and 10, 2 and 5. I'm looking for numbers that add up to 7. 2 plus 5 is 7. So now I'm going to write the ratio. My A is 2. So I'm going to write A with each factor, 2 to 2, 2 to 5. I can simplify this 2 to 2 to 1 to 1. And that one does not. So this is my factors. These are my factors. And I'm going to have a D and a 1 from this one. And then 2D and 5. I'm using a sum, so my signs will be the same, and they'll be what my B term is, which is positive, so they'll both be positive. And there we have it. Okay, let's do 22. I thought I brought this to, let's try it one more time. Bring it to the front. Okay, so looking for a common factor of 8, 68, and 84. And that would be, I believe, 4. So we take a 4 out. That leaves me 8 divided by 4 is 2n squared. plus 17n plus 21. 68 divided by 4 is 17. 84 divided by 4 is 21. Okay, and again, we're going to go ahead and write our parentheses and go back to our steps. Am I looking for a sum or a difference? This is my A, this is my B, and my C. My C is positive, so I'm looking for a sum. That sum will be equal to 17. I'm going to multiply A and C together to look at the factors. So I have 1 plus 42 does not equal 17. 2 plus 21, nope. 3 plus 14 equals 17. So I have my factors. And my A value is 2. So A to the first factor and A to the second factor. That cannot be simplified. This one simplifies to 1 to 7. So this is what my factors are going to look like. So I'm going to go back up and I'm going to write 2n and 3 and n and 7. This is positive. I have a sum. My signs will be the same, and they'll be the same as the middle term. And there we have it. So some more examples. I'm going to let you work the rest on your own. And you have the steps right there to look at. Let me move this so it doesn't prevent you from seeing anything. And there you have it, looking for your GCF first to finish factoring polynomials.